Welcome to Marvel's Spider-Man 2, a game developed by Insomniac Games where you take the role of both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, a student-teacher dynamic who likes to spend a lot of time in the bathroom together. Team up with your friend from high school who came back from Europe with an STD to take down a man who loves to hunt superpowered individuals, all because his daddy never gave him a hug. Hi, I'm Lunar, and today, I'm looking for a challenge. That's why I'm going to be Marvel's Spider-Man 2 without using any suit tech. But first, let's set some ground rules. Number 1, I cannot use any suit tech except the first one. When the game tells you about the suit tech, it forces you to unlock the health upgrade before you can close out. So that's the only one that I'm allowed to use. Number 2, the skill tree is still fair game. I'm aware that the skill tree makes the challenge a lot easier, but trust me when I say in this game, I needed to be able to stand toe-to-toe with some of the later villains. Number 3, I have to beat all story missions. And finally, number 4. Subscribe. If you want to subscribe for me, how about this cute puppy? Remember, give me the 250 by the end of this year, and I have to do the New Year's Eve stream dressed as a chicken. That's enough for now. Let's get to the challenge. We begin this game with a cutscene showing Peter's childhood best friend going into a fluid tank filled with some black goop. He seems somewhat hesitant, but Mr. Suit is not a good father and decides to give his son an STD. We then cut to Miles Morales sitting in an empty classroom writing his college essay when class begins, but there's no teacher.
I'm here!
Oh, there he is. Mr. Parker, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who starts geeking out on physics while a sandstorm kicks up outside. Miles asks to go to the bathroom and we get this gem.
Can anybody... I need your help. Mr. Morales, is it? Are you sure this isn't something you can handle yourself?
There's a two-faced girl trying to use the genie right now. I need your help!
What the fuck? Peter makes himself look like a Minecraft YouTuber and follows Miles to the bathroom for a very long time, but really they're just going on the roof to watch the sunrise over the city of New York. Peter finally notices the massive sandstorm over the city and decides to swing over to see what's going on. Here we meet Flint Marko, aka Sandman.
I always hated that name.
Peter sits on Flint's hand and notices his small anger management issue and suggests yoga. But Flint is more interested in wrestling, so he does what any rational person would do. Peter runs through the building, telling people to get out and saving a citizen with the help of Miles before getting knocked to the ground, and we are given a fight against sand minions. This is the intro fight to get you caught up with the controls, so we make quick work of these guys. They are just sand after all. Pete gets a call mid-fight, and it looks like he didn't learn from the first game, as his boss is questioning where he is. He tells her he went out to his car, which couldn't she just check that by checking your car? Bad call, Pete. The sand minions seem to think so too, as they dogpile on him, and they all fall through this floor, where we learn about a new upgrade to the suit Peter made. He took a page out of Otto's book here, and added 4 appendages to the back of the suit, allowing for more hands. We are given access to Spider Barrage, an ability that allows the spider legs to spam attack enemies. After taking them all out, Flint decides to have a heart-to-heart with Peter. Peter tells Flint he stinks and needs a shower, leading to him getting drenched and burying Peter alive, only to be saved by Miles. Now fully on attack, the spider duo decides to drench Flint in water so Miles can shock his body, forming it into orange crystals. After shocking the sand guy a second time, he decides to thank Miles by throwing him back to school. But Miles isn't playing around and swings back over to the fight. I whip up his face using chunks of his own sand. I hit him a few times until Peter throws more water onto his face and I blast a hole right through his skull with a supercharged punch.
Holy sh...
Genki finally decides to be helpful and tells us about a massive water tank that we can use to drench this son of a beach and end the fight. So we make our way up the building, only for Flint to follow behind, slamming his hands down on us as we climb up. We finally reach our destination, but Flint hits us with one last ground pound, knocking us through the roof, where he yaps about wanting to be like everyone else before sending some more sand minions after Miles. Now Miles can actually use his venom punches to one-shot the sand minions, since they are, you know, sand. Miles makes his way upstairs, dodging Flint's giant fists and fighting more sand minions until finally reaching the water tower. Flint looked a little thirsty, so Peter knocked the water tank onto him, drenching him and leading to him falling apart. Or so we thought. Flint then uses some sand to launch Peter over the East River, leading him to pull out spider wings. Yep, They can fly now. Flint manages to get onto Pier 4 Beach, which helps him grow massive and kick up a huge sandstorm, blowing around buildings and trucks. So Peter has to punch Flint hard, and he got struck by lightning.
The gods will cease your insistence.
Miles catches up and they figure out a new plan. Using Miles' venom and Peter's spider legs, they work together to give Sandman the electro treatment, splitting his entire torso and head in half with a massive surge of electricity. With that done, Flint is set off to the raft, but not before giving our spider duo a cryptic warning about someone coming for them. Weird, but we can't worry about that right now. You will not be safe, puny spiders. Miles and Peter are helping clean up the mess the Sandman left when they realize their app is down. So they ask Genki for help. This mission is pretty much just a calm and clean up montage with Peter and Miles gaining access to new abilities and new side missions. I also got a call to help out a local celebrity who crashed their limo and was being robbed. Now, I was expecting Mr. Suit, but I was so much happier when I saw my man Triple J. Oh no. It's Jameson. I take him to the hospital only for him to accuse me of abducting him. I handed him over to the doctors. Miles caught up with Genki and Haley, where they started talking about college, and Peter meets up with the principal of Miles' school. He starts apologizing, but she fires him, even though it was day one and the supervillain was terrorizing New York. Now jobless, Peter decides to go back home to sulk alone, but MJ decides to pay him a visit. So now I am tasked with cleaning up Peter's house. They reminisce on old times before MJ gets a tip on a few inmates being moved from the raft. She leaves and sees Harry Osborn, Mr. Suit's son and childhood friend of Peter and MJ. He returned from his trip to Europe with an STD but wants to ride bikes with Peter. We ride our bikes over to the old high school to retrieve a surprise Harry left, but we also transition between that and when we were kids breaking into the school after hours to retrieve an old project. Peter and Harry sneak into school, making their way past the janitor by throwing his bucket at a cardboard cutout. They sneak through the halls a bit more, getting ready to go upstairs when the security guard starts making his way over, so we split up. Peter is still getting used to his power, so he breaks a doorknob, then fixing it, he runs out of webs. So I have to sneak around the roof to refill my web shooters. I make my way to the photo lab, where he has some web fluid hidden under a table, which, like, couldn't anyone just find that and realize Spider-Man goes to their school? Come on, you gotta be smarter than that, Peter. After refilling his shooters, I head back to the vents and make my way to meet Harry in the gym. I sneak past the guard and janitor again, bumping into Harry, so we make our way upstairs to get the thumb drive for this project. They get cornered by the guard coming out the elevator, and this guard must be blind, because, look here. Do you see the kids? Well, one is here, and the other one is here. And this guy just hears balloons and goes back upstairs like he didn't see us. We get to the locker and grab the drive, leading to us now having to escape. The cops are here, and so I grab the door and tell Harry to run before jumping on the wall and dropping the drive. The guard grabs the drive and goes to give a report, leading to me having to separate the cops one by one before slowly grabbing the drive from the guard's pocket. And as I get ready to leave, Harry gets on the loudspeaker and
I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand.
never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. That's a great job, Harry. Great Rickroll. Only to be stopped by a helicopter and Mr. Suit. Something is wrong though, and he takes Harry away to talk in private. And we all know what happened as Harry falls to the ground sobbing, and Mr. Suit does his best to console his son. We then cut back to the present day where Peter and Harry are sitting on the bleachers, and Harry offers a full-time job as a scientist for him. Peter doesn't agree just yet, but he does agree to meet up at the lab. Everything seems to be going right for Peter right now. So we need something bad to happen. Yep, that'll do. Miles is currently working on his college essay when Peter calls and asks him for help babysitting, so he does what any rational person would do. Jump out the window. As I arrive, I meet up with Peter as we watch Scorpion being moved out of the raft. But the guards comment on another prisoner being moved, and it is Mr. Photo Filter himself, Martin Lee. Miles seems to be losing his cool, but luckily Pete talks him down. As we watch the boat sail off, someone starts shooting off fireworks. But it's not New Year's Eve. Helicopters swoop in, dropping off some guys that look like they came straight out of a VTuber's worst nightmare, the outdoors. Peter isn't scared of the outdoors though, and decides to square up. Here we are introduced to the new mechanic for the combat system called heavy attacks. These attacks cannot be dodged, so you have to press the left bumper to parry the attack when the circle is red.
Which barely works half the time!
I make quick work of these guys, but they just don't stop coming. Eventually, they send some robotic birds to try and take me down, as well as a hunter with exploding arrows. I have to web strike the birds since they don't land on the ground, and have to keep an eye out on the sky for the hunters with crossbows. Eventually, we take them out, and more fireworks start going off, leading to a few jeeps on land shooting harpoons at the ship and dragging it closer to land. Water starts filling the hull, so Miles heads indoors to save the guards, as Peter continues to work on the harpoons outside. I make my way through some vents and come across Scorpion's cell where I can hear the guard on the inside yelling, "Oh, hi, buddy!" Scorpion seems to be a one-trick pony as he immediately poisons me after I saved his life. He then emotes on me, then dips, leaving Miles to have one hell of an acid trip.
Hey, was around my shoes.
After that life-changing experience that definitely triggered some PTSD, Miles came across Mr. Photofilter in his cell drowning, enjoying the show, before trying to free him, but his body has other plans. Miles' venom becomes a little different, now being blue in color rather than yellow, as well as it hits harder. I make quick work of the hunters before chasing down the ones that kidnapped Lee, pulling their chopper down and breaking a few of the harpoons on the ship. Oh, the ship is drifting. I fight a few more hunters using my new ability, Chain Lightning, to take out quite a few at once. As soon as Miles takes out all the hunters, another helicopter shows up. But this is no ordinary hunter. This is Kraven the Kinky. He stares down this child with a seriously disturbing look in his eyes before shooting a gas tank, lighting the river on fire and causing the ship to rotate more. So now the citizens are in danger. More birds show up and try kidnapping Mr. Photofilter again, but Miles puts a stop to that, working between stopping the propeller and saving Lee. I can see some of Lee's energy seeping through the cell, which only makes me worry that he got free. Oh. Crap. As Lee and Miles show down, the propeller starts to spin again, nearly unaliving a few citizens. Kraven then shows up and kidnaps Lee as Peter needs my help with the propeller. So now Peter and Miles have to find Scorpion and Lee again to send them back to jail. Miles feels really bad about what happened, so he decides to go sulk with his uncle Aaron. Aaron tells Miles about a bunch more stashes, giving us access to a new collectible, as well as the absolute bane of my existence as I now realize just how difficult this challenge is going to be. You see this screen? Right here? This is the suit tech. It replaces suit mods from the original game, which means that it's removed for the challenge. But you see, here's the catch. Suit tech increases your base stats in this game, rather than them increasing through the level up system like the previous games. Meaning that throughout this playthrough, I am stuck with the base damage, 1 focus bar, basic traversal, and 110 health. Because the menu forces you to increase your health once by locking all buttons except for X.
Ooh, Ludo might actually have an actual challenge on his hands.
With my new fear unlocked, I head over to Harry's lab to get a tour of the place. I walk in and get a look at the memorial for Harry's mom, Emily, and May, before Mr. Suit shows up and makes fun of Otto for being poor again. He then jumps to conclusions that I already agreed to join before being shut down by his son. He then emotes on us and dips, allowing Soup Jr. to give me a full tour of the facility. He introduces me to a few scientists who unlock side missions for me, as well as Dr. Connors, who is Harry's primary care physician. Dr. Connors is well known for the scientific fields of genetics, physics, biochemistry, and herpetology. However, since Harry doesn't seem to be a reptile, my only assumption is that Dr. Connors is there for his specialty in genetics and possibly biochemistry, seeing as it is his job to treat Harry's genetic illness. Harry calls me and tells me to meet him on the next floor to show me some more high-tech equipment, making me feel bad for being poor. He then leads me upstairs before finally ending the tour in the founder's office set up for both Harry and Peter. Peter is in pure shock of how much money Mr. Suit spent on this lab setup and drools, so he agrees to join the Emily May Foundation. He then gets a text and has to dip out. Miles tells him about a trail of fumes that leads over to the Williamsburg Bridge from the Hunters. So I head over there and don't see anything but a guy littering. Wait a minute. Turns out there's a secret base hidden behind some cloaking tech. I am immediately surrounded by hunters and birds, so I have to take them all out. There are shield enemies now that block your attacks, but they work kinda like the other shield enemies from the other games, where all you have to do is dodge under them, then hit them from behind. After taking out the hunters, I look around and find a shiny button that I press, launching a bird drone over into another hidden hunter base, where I immediately make myself known, leading to another fight. Peter breaks the toy and glides over to an old building being overtaken by plants and hunters, so I take this mission stealthily. Peter gets a lot of exposition and locations of other hunter blinds as he makes his way deeper in using the vents, all sus-like. I go into another room where I take out more hunters before coming across a research lab filled with information on how to take down Lee and Scorpion. After putting the breaking and breaking and entering, I start to look through a computer to find out that Kraven is hunting down Black Cat. Just as Peter's about to learn more, he gets attacked by a more advanced version of Abo. These dogs hit hard and take quite a beating to be put down, as well as they have a pulse move that disables my special attacks. Peter decides to take a break from fighting and watch a movie called The Fall of Scorpion, where we finally get to see exactly what Kraven wants with these people, as he takes Scorpion's own stainer and stabs it right into his side, taking him out in one hit. Peter starts freaking out and decides someone needs to warn Felicia, but it can't be him since she won't listen, so it's up to Miles. He swings over to Black Cat's apartment to warn her, but it seems that some hunters got there first, so Miles looks around for some clues on what happened, discovering an empty stash and learning that she is being hunted. As he gets ready to go look for her again, there's an explosion off in the distance, so I head over there, finding another hidden stash with a postcard to Pears and a book about a magic teleporting stick. Hunters fly by, so Miles chases them down, leading to the Sanctum Sanctorum. Miles takes out the guards surrounding the building as Black Cat hosts a rave, but Miles feels left out, so he tries to join them, only to have Felicia teleport outside. So I have to chase after her, leading to her taking down a helicopter. Miles asks her for help, but she seems more worried about her girlfriend, while I don't trust her. Miles does. Eventually, more hunters show up with a turret. It works a lot like the one from the first game too. So all I have to do was web it up, then throw it down on some hunters. I work with Felicia to open a portal to Paris, and she thanks me by giving me the wand, so I can use it to take out Kraven. But Juan has other plans and takes his magic toy back. Kinky calls to meet up at Coney Island for some relaxing time with him and Haley. So I head over there and meet up with them in front of a Mysterium. That name sounds familiar. Oh, hi, Beck! Miles gets thrown into a sweet DJ booth, and folks, it's party time. As I'm distracted by the music and buttons, Mysterium begins to glitch out, spawning in Mr. Photo Filter. As demons spawn in, Miles unlocks another ability, Thunderburst. This ability allows him to use his venom to jump up in the air, then come down on a group of enemies, hitting them all in one go. The demons act pretty normal, so I take them all out quickly before Beck can pull me out of the illusion. Peter shows up and asks Miles how the experience was, but Miles is a little upset from the experience, so he goes home to sulk in peace. Peter, however, is going to stay with Harry and MJ to have some fun at Coney Island. We run around the carnival, playing games and winning prizes. We even come across Tombstone, who seems to have turned over a new leaf and is working as a mechanic for the go-kart track. He even helped someone who flipped over. Eventually, we come across a test of your strength game, where, of course, I get the bell, since I'm the strongest in the... Holy shit! We end the night with a romantic ride on the Ferris wheel, looking over the night sky with MJ on his arm, and fireworks going off. Oh wait, we forgot he was Spider-Man. Hunters show up to take in Tombstone, so Peter has to suit up and take them all out. Eventually, more hunters show up with even stronger rope, but luckily I can still escape them, so I start taking out hunters again as they have Tombstone and some weird BDSM thing. But he didn't consent, so he tries to escape, only for some hunters to crash into a ride, knocking it into the roller coaster, which is still running for some reason. Like, we have been fighting for a good 10 minutes at least, and you're still operating the roller coaster? Yeah, this one's on you guys. But Peter tries his best to save everyone, but as the ride falls on him, he begins to lose his grip. With two people stuck on the ride, they look at him as they realize that he can't help them. Just then, Suit Jr. shows up and pulls the ride off Peter, allowing him to save the last two citizens on the roller coaster. And all the commotion, the hunters got away with Tombstone, but that doesn't matter apparently, as Harry and Pete decide to have a little chat. Harry tells him about the STD, and it tries to get on Peter, but Harry can control it a bit. They decide to run a few tests in the lab to see how the STD works, and trash the office, so in the morning when Mr. Suit walks in, he is ticked off. So Peter decides the best thing to do is step and let Harry take all the blame. Black Cat calls us and tells us where she thinks Kraven is holding Tombstone, so I head over and check out the location. As I arrive, I am greeted by countless guards surrounding the facility, so I take this mission stealthily for about 5 seconds. I take out all the guards and make my way into the building, using the web line to take out the hunters in this warehouse. Once the warehouse looked like Chuck E. Cheese on my last birthday, a hunter with a sword comes out when... Harry, we need to work on your entrance. He was a bit too loud though, and now we have to take out even more hunters. Harry's superhero suit seems to use the black sludge to make giant fists and tentacles to launch him up. Eventually a turret shows up, but this time they turned up the heat and added a flamethrower on the truck, so I can't whip it. Peter comes up with an idea though, and we drop a 2-ton bucket of molten metal on the truck. Harry and I make our way even deeper into the steel mill, finding Tombstone in the cage as well as the entire Lord of the Rings cast. So I try to take out the hunters while Harry makes a run for the cage to try and break out Tombstone, but I think he pressed the wrong button and the room started to fill with molten metal. We also meet a brute hunters. They're like regular hunters, but they also have a medical degree in rearranging my ribs.
Look out! He can't feel his legs.
After taking out the hunters, another group shows up, but we can't stay for dinner as it's getting too hot. So I swing around the place and pull out the supports on Tombstone's cage, but nothing is working. So Harry does what any rational person would do. Jump at the molten metal. But hey, it worked, and he's in the cell. So Harry pushes with all his might and breaks the door off the hinges before all three of us run out of the building. Tombstone takes off and is ready for if the hunters come back. I give him a compliment and his STD liked it so much it tried to latch onto me, but I broke it off and Harry and I split now. Dr. Connors is still missing, so I check in with Harry and MJ. Harry hasn't seen him, but MJ is currently tracking him down, so now we get to play as MJ. God damn it, MJ! She got taken to a zoo, but left her phone at Dr. Connors, so she needed to borrow up the landline. Sneaking her way through the zoo, she discovers that the hunters are trying to reactivate the lizard genes. She sneaks around more, taking out enemies left and right with a taser before coming across Vulture's wings and learning of his passing. But she also found Connor's phone and calls Harry, telling him where she is before it dies. She then hears Connors begging for his life and watches him be trapped in a cage, so she has to find the cuff key and the code to the cell. So I do just that. But it's rude to leave without telling your host. Luckily, he's right here. As he injects Connor with a serum against his will, he emotes on us and dips. Harry and Peter show up ready to kick butt and take names. We clear a path, taking out another 100 guards. Seriously, how does Kraven afford their paychecks?
You want us to forge how many checks?
And we clear out the lab, allowing Connors to start work on the cure. But Kraven the Kinky caught wind of our experiments and came in to test our work himself. But we are too late as Dr. Connors transforms into the lizard. Peter goes in to get the cure and Kraven stabs our hero in the side. Peter falls to the ground, slowly fading as Harry goes ballistic and starts beating the crap out of Kraven. The lizard runs off and MJ carries Peter to safety, but it's no use as Peter closes his eyes and Spider-Man is gone. Or is he?
What happened?
No, wait, but he still needs that. Peter's alive and rightfully ticked off, so he does what any rational person would do. Beat everyone up. He sends even more people to the hospital as Kraven the Kinky watches, drooling and wishing for some alone time with Peter. The dynamic trio go back to the Foundation to try and get the suit back on Harry, but it's no use. So their only hope is to find Dr. Connors, cure him, and figure out how to take the suit off. I head over to a pawn shop to find Kraven's location, and the shop owner tells me that the flames have been lit. He then tells me to Kraven off, so I do so, following the smoke in the air to try and figure out where Kraven is hiding. I take out a few hunters on my way, and the flames lead me to the docks where I find a few hunters kicking a dock worker on the ground. So I take them out and take the dock worker to the hospital. In return, he gives me Kraven's home address. So I swing over and go undercover as Peter. As soon as I get in, the expediter tells me to take a plate to Kraven's personal bodyguard, Dina. But I have no idea who that is, so I walk around the entire building looking for someone I can only assume is Dina. I come across a shield bearer, this massive man with a giant shield, and place the meal down, and okay, I was wrong. He tells me to head upstairs to feed Dina, but the steak is taken from me as I cause a huge pile up and sneak away. I enter the room to see who the bodyguard is, and is that a tiger?
go.
Yep, I go feed Dina. She's so thankful she decides to take a nap, allowing me to look at Kraven's study on my own. I find a lot of exposition, revealing that Kraven is sick with cancer. Before I can leave though, I pet the kitty, then get petted by the shield bearer. He throws me down to the first floor where I am surrounded by hunters, so I let loose and take them all out before making my way to church to confess that I still like pineapple on pizza. My lawyers have advised me to clarify that this is still a joke.
How many times I gotta teach you this lesson, old man?
As I arrive at church, I'm greeted by a shield bearer. Now that I'm fighting these guys, I'll go over their arsenal. They carry a full-body ballistic shield and a spear that uses some kind of tech that blocks my gadgets. He also has two main attacks. One that just stabs the spear in my general direction, and one where he drops in the air and comes down creating a shockwave. I can also use my gadgets and symbiote surge to deal some real damage, even when he has the shield up. But other than those, my main goal is to parry his attacks and get a few hits in before dodging out of the way. After I take out the welcoming party, I head inside to meet with Kraven the Kinky. He starts yapping about hunting, but I don't have time for that, so I throw him off and he hits the bell. But Peter's a little autistic, so he smashes the bell and takes a serum. He then emotes on Kraven and dips. Heading back to the Foundation, I meet up with Harry and we do some science before hunters arrive and decide to destroy the facility. So I decide to destroy their skulls. As I am managing to take out the hunters, Harry is working on shutting down the particle accelerator to get the cure. Once we both finish our missions, even more hunters show up, grabbing Peter and giving us access to another ability, Symbiote Blast. It is mainly useful for when I am surrounded to get all the enemies off me, but I also tend to use it along with my abilities against brutes and bosses. As I look at the mess I made, I hear a noise coming from the trees. Hey Boo Boo, what's up?
I think I'm dead, Yogi.
Boo Boo here carries a little battle axe. Luckily I have my symbiote search meter built up, so you know what that means. Just as I thought I was in the clear, even more hunters show up, destroying the entire facility. Peter grabs Harry and dips out. Where Mr. Suit is actually being a good parent here, more concerned for his son's safety than the billions of dollars of property damage. Harry did manage to get the antidote before dipping, so now all Peter has to do is find the lizard. We come across the house completely destroyed before using all my knowledge to open a secret door to Connor's kink room. I watch his tape and find a massive hole in the wall before some hunters show up, so I bust out of the basement and break their skulls. By this point in the game, you have quite a few suit tech upgrades to increase your health and damage. But I don't, so I have to hit the hunters a lot more than normal since their health is increased but my damage did not. So I do get taken out, but luckily only once.
It wasn't only once.
Peter's a little hungry after that fight, so he calls Miles to pick him up some fish. Sadly, there are hunters here too, so Miles has to take them all out and make his way to get Peter a fish with the help of Genki and a drone. I snuck through the horror section of the game, finding some claw marks and shed skin from lizard. Fun fact, I absolutely adore lizards. All reptiles are very cute. So of course the lizard is my favorite villain because he's just so... What the hell is that? As he escapes the market, starts swimming through the river as hunters chase him. So Peter and I follow suit, interrupting the tour and falling in the water. But wait, isn't the lizard also... Oh crap! We took out a gunship, but the lizard got away, so Peter is very annoyed, showing even more of a jerkish, brooding side. Pete follows the lizard into the sewers, hunting him down even though he doesn't want to be followed. The trail ends in an Oscorp lab hidden in the sewers, but something is wrong. This doesn't feel like a lizard lab. It feels like a space lab. There's even a piece of metal that the suit is drawn to. But before we can grab it, we have a visitor. As the lizard stalks us from the darkness, he slams Peter through a wall and the fight begins. With the lizard, we also learn about a new attack type. Crush attacks. These attacks have a blue warning and cannot be parried or blocked. They can only be dodged. As long as I'm careful with dodges, I can manage to get a good combo in on him. After ending phase 1, he grabs me and breathes right in my face. Now he can crawl on the walls, but other than that, it's pretty much the same as phase 1. After beating him in phase 2, I try to cure him, but he wants to play rough, so I tie him down. But he knows Peter is autistic, so he screams loud. He then emotes on me and dips, so I chase him through the streets of New York. Eventually, cops join in the chase as well as hunters, so Peter throws them out of a moving car and continues his chase, going right past Avengers Tower, but Tony's on vacation, so they won't help. The chase turns vertical as we start scaling a building. Kraven the Kinky shows up and knocks Connors off the building, severing his tail in the process. Connors and I fall back into the sewers where we move on to phase 3. And Peter shoots Connors with straight disrespect as I beat him down.
You're too weak to get
control back, aren't you? No wonder your family left you. You're not strong enough.
What the fuck is we doing?
I fainted on this part. Twice. And then a third time to reset and get my footing after being hit instantly. This fight is going to take a long ass time. Luckily, fourth time's the charm and I managed to get the lizard down, turning him back in the corners. He wakes up on the couch and sees me wearing the black suit. He seems a bit nervous and tells me that I'm currently wearing an alien that made him lose his arm. He tells Peter that it needs to be destroyed, but Peter doesn't want to lose the suit.
Destroy us? You said it chose me, Doc. It makes me a better Spider-Man.
Peter is tired after not sleeping for 5 weeks, so we take control of MJ, as it appears that hunters kidnapped Peter. So I make my way outside through the basement and see Peter going on a rampage. But something is very wrong. He seems more animalistic. I have to find Peter before the hunters do, so I make my way through the streets taking out hunters, and following Peter trying to be an animal. I make my way through the construction site and find Peter as he unalives a man. Peter? Miles shows up and we start heading after Peter. I find him fighting some hunters, so I decide to help him out. After fainting once, I take out a few more hunters and MJ takes Peter into the tunnels for some alone time, leaving Miles outside for containment. But this is where I fainted. A lot. And each time I fainted, it would send me back to the start of that encounter. And I was always so close to the end, it was starting to get very frustrating. Until I came back from lunch, and now filled with hope as well as a bit of fast food, I managed to bunker down and take out all the hunters. Kraven starts to enter the tunnel, so MJ has to wake up Peter, and he is peeved. So he starts chasing her through the tunnels. Coming out the other side, MJ escapes and Peter decides to go nap on a park bench. I wake up the next morning with multiple missed calls and texts, so I head over to Mr. Suit's house to meet with Harry. He really needs the suit back, but Peter is not hearing it, saying that he will keep the suit and let Harry pass without a second thought. Mr. Suit is upset that Harry lost the family heirloom suit, but since he doesn't know Peter has it, Mr. Suit praises Peter as a son, leading to Harry to take his anger out on an innocent window. Mr. Suit Jr., you are out of control. During all that, Miles was finally able to get some good story beats, needing to escape from Kraven's secret kink lair. I found the cells for all the previous villains, and audio tapes from Kraven drooling over Peter as I make my way through the tunnels, taking out hunters on my way until I come across a large group of hunters chanting. They cleared a path for me, allowing me to walk outside into a battle arena. It's really nice out here, shame I have to be alone. Oh hi there Mr. Photo Filter. Mr. Photo Filter here has a few attacks. 2 energy projection attacks, 1 vertical and 1 horizontal, as well as a quick dash attack that you have to dodge 3 times before you can hit him. Since I only keep 1 focus bar on me, I have to keep using that to heal whenever I get below half. After beating up Lee a bit, we move on to phase 2. In this phase, Mr. Photo Filter disrupts my venom a bit. He also brings up a barrier that can only be taken down by my venom, so I have to let it recharge, then tear down his bunker. The rest of this fight is the same, so I beat him up some more before we move on to phase 3. Phase 3 is exactly the same as phase 2. After the fight, we do some freaky stuff in the mindscape with a talking Dorito and a top hat, where Lee discovers that Miles is the son of Jeff from the first game. He asks Miles to end it, but instead Miles frees Lee, telling him to find Peter. So Lee runs off and starts shooting a light into the sky to attract the bug. After a short conversation, Peter heads to an old mansion to save Miles. Peter goes berserk, activating Symbiote Surge on his own with no meter so no one can block my attacks. I take down everyone, even the shield bear, before threatening a hunter to tell me where to go. Peter swings into battle, ready to unalive anyone who enters. Oh look who it is! Kraven! He traps me and starts yapping, so I break out to shut him up. Kraven has a heavy attack like most bosses, as well as mines that he'll throw either in a circle around us or right in my direction. Phase 1 is pretty easy as long as you don't get cornered like I did on multiple occasions. After beating on this old man for a while, he whistles and a bell starts ringing, so Peter breaks through the wall, finding the church bell and Kraven's dirty little secret. I didn't realize that I could whip it up, so I tried to fight him while the bell was ringing, only to discover that I could web it as soon as he managed to take his last shot on me. During phase 2, he will oftentimes pull some form of concussion grenades before doing one of 4 things: heavy attacks, sniper rifle, ringing the bell, or the Macarena. Peter grabs Kraven and starts choking him out. I was gonna make a kinky joke here, but Kraven beat me to it. Guess that's why they call him Kraven the Kinky. Miles isn't about unaliving Kraze though, so he sends Kraven flying, but Peter's a little upset about losing his kink partner, and decides to let loose, using Miles as a training dummy. I made the mistake of forgetting the bell existed again until the last moment, so I fainted, but this fight is tough, since Peter is using the skills you currently had active, and I had a lot of the strong ones active. But his attacks are pretty much what I've been using on everyone else to break their skulls, so Miles manages to take out Peter in 3 phases. Peter is tired of Mr. Suit's family suit, so he tears it off, removing the STD. He then takes a sample of the STD to the lab to show Connors, but Harry is there. Oh no, is he gonna become a villain? Yep, as he takes the family suit back from Peter and puts it on, turning into an emo. He then knocks out Peter and goes on a rampage, destroying the entire facility and taking out Mr. Suit's security guards. Eventually, some hunters show up for a meeting with my fist, so they have a nice conversation before Kraven the Kinky shows up once again for a fight. Venom is an absolute beast in this fight, able to stop Kraven's heavy attacks with just punches, eventually getting Kraven down in no time. Venom is starving after that fight, so he decides to grab a bite before dipping out. Harry has a small chat with the voices in his head, coming up with a plan to take over the world. Peter finally wakes up from his nap with a mild concussion and looks out over the city skyline, ready to find Harry. I track him down to a secret lair filled with goo and a random person being taken over by the symbiote. Turns out Harry is spreading his STD a bit, leading to a new enemy type: symbiotes. They have a few different forms, but right now all we have to worry about are the melee type. They act like regular hunters, except they also have a heavy attack, and they're all hopped up on steroids, leading to them hitting harder and being able to take a beating even more than normal. After taking them out, I call Miles for backup, and Peter learns about Kraven. I mix some beats and add it to the concussive grenade to make it affect the symbiotes. Oh look, some test subjects. Now we have ranged symbiotes. These guys will jump on walls or roofs and shoot globs of goo at me, so I just gotta keep an eye on them, make sure that they don't go too far. Kinky calls us for help with the subway, so we head over and find more symbiotes. Rusher symbiotes act just like the melee type, but they have crush attacks rather than heavy attacks, and they move a lot faster. We make our way into the subway, taking out a nerve clusters to free the people on the train. After saving the day, we head back into town to look for Harry. I head over to his place to see if I can find him, but no luck. Pete decides to call MJ to see how she's doing, and she tells Pete that he has a visitor. So I make my way over to greet my guest, and it's Harry. Oh no. Harry wants Peter to join him in taking over the world, but Peter turns him down, so Harry does what any rational person would do: give MJ an STD. He then emotes on me and dips, leaving me to fight MJ and free her from the symbiote. Scream Hero has similar attacks to Peter when he's under the influence of the symbiote, but she also has a hair whip attack and projectile attacks. She also has a whopping 4 phases.
Who's gonna tell that she's not the final boss?
After phase 1, Peter tries to talk her down, but she grabs him and throws him into a brick wall. During phase 2, her attacks are the same, but now she'll jump on roofs to shoot her projectiles and gain some distance. After phase 2, she grabs Peter once more and throws him into the construction site. Time for phase 3. Once again, her attacks are pretty similar, but now she has the attack to whip her hair at me 3 times, but after dodging each one, she will take a breather and I can hit her between them. There's also access to stacks of metal pipes I can use to stun her, along with a few new car alarms. After hitting her a few more times, we move on to phase 4. Phase 4 is exactly the same as phase 3, even to the point where the metal pipes come back for me to use again. The only difference is she has more health now. After getting a case of domestic abuse, Peter gets a call about some symbiotes attacking City Hall, so he heads over to try and help out. Peter arrives on scene to find City Hall being taken over by a goop, so Miles and I take out the symbiotes and make our way to the roof to clear a path and help the citizens escape. We open the door and free a behemoth, who grabs Peter and throws him into the goo.
Oh, that's a
Miles heads after him and almost gets taken out, but Lee shows up to help out, hitting into Peter's mind with Miles to save him from the STD. We make our way deep in the Pete, coming across mental remainers of the villains from the last game, as they push Miles deeper into Pete's subconscious. We take out some enemies in the mindscape when the symbiote comes out and unalives every villain. We make our way even deeper, coming across the core. Lee starts taking it out when some symbiotes show up, so Miles takes them out using a new power: Galvanize. With this ability, Miles can charge an enemy with electricity so that they electrocute other enemies as Miles punches them in the air. As Miles takes out the symbiotes, Lee gives it us all, taking out the core, and we discover the source of Peter's pain. After curing this man's PTSD, Peter gains a new suit, the anti-venom suit. In this suit, Peter has full control of the symbiote. His abilities are similar to the ones he had when wearing the venom, and his attacks deal more damage to the symbiote enemies. I cleared the rest of City Hall and Lee decides to turn himself in. At least that's what I assume he does, since he walks over to the police and that's the last we see of him. We swing off and I get a call from Connors giving me Harry's IP address, so I head over, finding Harry exploring his new side hobby of geology. I ask if I can get a closer look, but he just swats me aside, emotes on us, and dips. Dr. Connors tells me I cannot save Harry, but Mr. Suit is begging me to save Harry, so I have a choice to make as I follow Harry and find the symbiote took over the city with his goop. Eventually, Miles shows up in a new suit and starts taking out the Nest course, when some weird dude dressed like a rhino shows up and starts emoting on me. But I don't like disrespect, so I punched him into last week. Miles gets a taste of the symbiote and finds out where the rock is being held, but he also sees that Haley's in trouble, so being the simp he is, he decides to go help her, leaving Peter to grab the rock on his own. I make my way down into the core of the nest, only to find even more symbiotes, so I take them out too, finding Venom, who wrecks Peter and tries to corrupt him. Luckily, Miles shows up and puts a stop to that, rescuing Pete and getting out of there. But now Peter has the rock's IP address, so they call up MJ and get together for the last mission. They come up with a game plan and head into Central Park. Peter walks up and insults Venom's breath, so Venom comes out to chase Peter down. Miles starts taking out the symbiotes, allowing MJ to sneak in and make her way into the nest. The taser gets a sonic burst upgrade, allowing her to take out the symbiotes from a distance, which is very much needed so you aren't getting surrounded by them. I make my way in, taking out the guards before finally coming up to the rock. I grab it and make my escape when a behemoth shows up, leading to a mini boss fight. Really, all I gotta do is keep my distance to shoot the symbiote. I escape the nest and grab Miles before we head over to the Emily May Foundation to destroy the rock. We then cut over to Peter, who is still playing tag with his best friend. Venom grabs Peter as they fall into the high school, where Venom lifts the ground into 3 arenas for our epic boss fight. Venom has 4 faces, much like MJ did earlier, but he also has many different attacks. There's the normal, heavy, and crunch attacks, but he also will grab me at points and introduce my skull into the pavement.
King Vin sends his regards.
Look out! He can't feel his legs!
As well as an attack where he'll cover the ground in his goo, making Little Mouse come up and bite me. This fight had me on the ropes since you're supposed to have a lot of the suit tech, if not all of it, giving you more health and dealing more damage. So the game gives Venom a lot of health, since you're supposed to be doing much more damage. And it has him do much more damage, since you're supposed to have a lot of health. He can do nearly half of my health in one hit, so at this point I'm just using my focus bar for health only. Eventually it became a second nature to keep my distance until he decided to hold me still with some weird kink stuff. But I didn't consent, so I broke out and started hitting him again. During phase 2, he spawns symbiotes to help him out, and has an armor bar, so you have to take out a certain number of symbiotes before you can damage him. Once you get his armor down, you need to get him down to half health before he will summon more symbiotes and get more armor, so you have to take out the symbiotes again. After all that, Venom gets notified that the rock's on the move, but contrary to Patrick's beliefs, rocks cannot move. So Venom heads over to Foundation to see what's going on, dragging Peter along for the ride. They arrive at the Foundation and Venom broke his favorite toy, so he throws it across the room and tries to grab Miles. Miles slows him down, but it's no use. Venom now has projectiles. The pattern here is a simple one. Dodge 2, then throw the third one back at him. After beating on this man a bit, he pulls Miles into a hug and gets blasted. MJ sets the particle accelerator, but Venom grabs the rock and starts doing some freaky stuff with tentacles, so Miles kicks him away and we get a little glitch with the floor. But now we are on to phase 4. Venom has a new attack where he will send a wave of mouths towards me. He will also shoot multiple projectiles at once that home in on me, so I have to keep an eye out for that, but after I do, I can get close to him and hit him hard. After beating him down, he knocks me over and grabs the rock to try and turn Miles, but Venom seems hungry, so I feed him a sonic grenade. Venom takes off with the rock and Peter follows him, beating him down. Miles grabs the rock and goes to destroy it, as Peter keeps his friend busy. Peter keeps begging Harry to fight, but Harry is begging to be dealt with in a more permanent way. Peter obliges, taking out Harry, as MJ activates the accelerator, destroying the rock once and for all, and Harry passes with no more symbiote. Miles comes up and shocks Harry, reviving him, and the trio walk out, handing Harry over to doctors as Mr. Suit blames us for his son's coma. Which, to be fair, it is our fault, but that's not the point. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is a beautiful game about second chances. I have seen a lot of people hate on this game, and I do agree that it's not as good as the first, but if you just look at the game on its own, it's still a good game, and an excellent closer to Spider-Man's story.
You do realize that Insomniac's still working on the third game right now?
Oh, what the fuck? Make sure you leave a like and let me know in the comments below what other games you'd like to see me do a challenge run on. This is Lunar Shadows, signing out.